Well, well, here we are, people. It's 2018, and the social justice brigade is in full swing. This article came up on my Facebook feed from the shit peddler's advice, and it's basically I clicked on the link. This is the article here, and I was like, wait, why are there so many black people in Far Cry 5? I don't know, boys, but I think you're gonna tell me. I've been playing Far Cry 5 for about 2 weeks now, and I haven't really noticed it that much, but you know. I mean, there's no Chinese people in it, as far as I know. There's also no Eskimos or Mongolians, but I don't really know the demographic of Montana, but pretty sure there's no Eskimos or many Chinese people there. So let's go straight in. This is by Dexter Thomas. It's the 19th today, which came out yesterday. So bear with me as I go straight into this. Read this shit peddling that is Vice. Ready? Here we go. After spending a few weeks with Far Cry 5, I've come to the regretful conclusion that there are way too many black people in this game. Why do you give a shit? I played this mission where you have to hunt down 3 different types of bull testicles for this festival called the Testicle Festival. And I actually looked up and it is a festival called the Testicle Festival. Well, shame on me for not looking into it too much. Well, I did, so let's carry on. It's not that I dislike black people. Oh, thank God, Vice. Thank God. Thank God. I never thought. In fiction or real life, full disclosure, I am black. Shut the I don't care. I still fucking hate you. It's just that for a series that prides itself on realism. Really? Really? Far Cry prides itself on realism. Really? Jesus Christ, you retard. My experience of constantly bumping into assault rifle toting black people in the forest of Montana just seems unrealistic. It's a game. It's not supposed to be realistic, you fucking psychopath. Far Cry 5's premise, Far Cry is one word, I believe, is that you're a local deputy sent to arrest the leader of a doomsday cult that has been taken over fictional Hope County, Montana. But, for some reason, that's never explained in-game. A large proportion of the cultists are black. Wait, so you complain when minorities aren't represented in the games, and now you're complaining because there's too many minorities in this game, therefore they're not a minority, they're a majority? I've never really noticed this. I've never looked into it that much, but this is what the world looks like through the eyes of a social justice warrior. The developers have tried to explain this by saying that the cult that appears as the main enemy in the game has gotten everyone, regardless of colour, to join. But that doesn't account for the fact that non-cultists are disproportionately black. Whoa! Whoa! You got them, boys! You got Ubisoft right against the balls. The racists at Ubisoft. Stranger still is that you can go through the entire game without running into a Native American. At 6.6% of the state's population, Native Americans represent a larger community than black people, and inclusion of a prominent Native character or two probably make it feel like Montana. Who cares? Who cares? Just play the fucking game. I'm gonna play Far Cry and I go, there's a distinct lack of tomahawks here. What's going on? What's going on, Far Cry? I might send it back. I might give it a ban to say it's not representative of people of colour and Native Indians and Eskimos. The strained diversity of the cast may just be a sign of that Ubisoft, like a lot of the game industry, is starting to make some occasionally awkward duh Ubisoft, listen to Dexter, efforts at inclusion. In the past, the Far Cry series, which at over 40 million units sold, is one of the most popular first-person shooter franchises, has generally involved travelling to an exotic land and shooting its exotic inhabitants. And saving them, don't forget to say that. In Far Cry 3, for example, you play as a white man who fights his way out of a fictional South Pacific island. This story format has led to a lot of gamers criticising the series as being racist. Well, of course it is. It's like, was it Resident Evil 5? Was it accusing because all the Africans, I suppose, are black? Well, what about all the other 4 fucking Resident Evils? Like, they're all white. Pretty much all of them are. Anyway, I can't remember all of it because I'm not a social justice warrior retard, but I'm pretty sure most of the zombies in the old mansion in Resident Evil 1 were white. But I digress. This story format is also again about series being racist and perhaps spurring the concern among some white gamers that Far Cry 5 would give white people the violent savage treatment. Retard alert. Retard alert. Creative director Dan Hay is aware of the criticism of the past Far Cry games. There were some folk who were basically communicating that, hey, this is like a great white hope going in and saving these folks, he said in an interview with Vice News. I think that what we did is we looked at that and we said to ourselves, how do we as a brand make sure that as we go into the future, we're building it so that the main character is not just a prescribed character. How do we make it so that we're actually making it so that you could build the character yourself and that it could be you if you wanted? Well, they have a character customization. I'm a girl in it, and I dressed up in little grungy sort of gear, a bit like a female Eddie Vedder. That's my character. The problem with this immersive experience is that occasionally breaks down if you don't pick a white avatar. What? The problem with this immersive experience is that occasionally breaks down if you. Who the fuck cares? Pick your own character! Jesus Christ. At one point in the game, you come across a woman who looks you up and down, asking if you're Italian, insinuating that Italians are thieves. What the fuck? What? But I had customized my avatar to be a woman with dark skin and short afro. Not really an appearance that would scream Italian to a rural Montanan. It's as though the writers assumed that most players would pick a white character, and anyone who didn't would just nod and accept the gap in storytelling logic. Well, Mario Balotelli, a famous footballer, he's Italian, and he's black. But what? We all want to be a race, man. You don't want to insinuating that all Italians are white. Get fucked. It's a frustrating oversight because Far Cry does otherwise make an effort to immerse the player. Your avatar does not have a name. Instead, other characters call you Rookie or Deputy. Characters refer to you using your gender appropriate and occasionally gender neutral pronouns. Oh my god, this is so left wing. This makes the Italian line the more annoying because it makes it clear that the developers did have the topic of racism in mind when they were creating the game. But instead of taking it seriously, they used it for the arbitrary joke. In this context, slapping a bunch of black characters into the game without explanation feels not only like the tokenization, but also a deliberate avoidance of the real element of American life. One that might have been made in a game more interesting. Well, why didn't you work for a games company, Dexter? Oh yeah, because you're an insufferable tard. This weakness in Far Cry's world building is especially disappointing because its predecessor was much more braver and funnier in its approach to American sensibilities. 2014's Far Cry 4 takes place in a fictional South Asian country of Rat, which has been taken over by a bloodthirsty dictator. As the game processes, you realise that American interference caused the country to fall into chaos in the first place. There's a direct jabs at American foreign policy, courtesy of pirate radio DJ played by Hassan Minhaj, who jokes about the President Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize and despite ordering drone strikes, like they're going out of style. After that level of sauciness, Far Cry 5 comes across as about as spicy as an oatmeal sandwich. This isn't to say that Far Cry 5 isn't fun, it is, and the fact that Ubisoft is listening to and considering the criticisms they have gotten in the past is worthy of some praise. Oh, thank God, Dexter. Thank God you're giving the Ubisoft some slack. But their effort to address this criticism just falls flat. Far Cry 5's ham-fisted appeal to diversity by dumping black characters onto the screen is not offensive per se, but it is symbolic of a deeper issue: Ubisoft's seemingly low estimation of the kind of America that gamers are willing to see. In all of the press for the game, Far Cry 5 developers have stressed how much time they have spent in Montana in order to make it authentic. Going fishing, looking at landscape, having a beer with locals. But anyone who has lived in America will recognise that the country that appears in Far Cry 5 is inauthentic. It's a game, it's not supposed to be authentic! It's disappointing that realism in this video game was not limited by graphical limitations or writing, but by timidness. Holy shit. Anyway, that's a bunch of bollocks, but the number one, the sauciness, is in the comments, my friends. Let's go into it. Vice is now mad that there's too many minorities. 722, fucking hell. For those of you that don't want to read the article, let me give you the too long didn't read. We want representation of minority groups in video games. We don't want a disproportionately black group of bad guys. That's not representation. Your video game is about a fake situation, a fake place isn't real enough. True. Actual Vice articles. Why is seeing yourself represented on screen so important? February 2018. Diversity in gaming is happening. Let's rejoice. July 2015. Wait, why are there so many black people in Far Cry 5? That's yesterday. This is a typical of how the demands of a regressives are never satisfied, and is why The Simpsons is right to tell you to get stuffed, and why your demand changes removal of the last 30-year-old character. That's talking about Apu. This is the kind of hard-hitting journalism I follow for. Go Vice. There are far too many aliens in Halo. That's why aliens make up 0% of the population. So I find it a little unrealistic that we are suddenly fighting so many of them. Kudos to you, Cameron. Kerry Callingnan. Vice whines for years about not enough diversity in video games. Along comes Far Cry 5. A game is now too diverse because it upsets them. Literally, the reason why you guys refused to cover Kingdom Come was its historical accuracy and lack of diversity. Yellow journalists are never happy. Jesus Christ, they are getting destroyed on here. I haven't seen a single good comment about this article. But yeah, Vice is getting absolutely ripped to shreds on this article, and it's fucking hilarious. They know what they're doing. They're a bunch of shit peddling, you know, fucking they're a bunch of shit peddlers. They love peddling shit. 617 fucking dislikes. Dislike laughs and thumbs up. Jesus Christ. Trust Vice to be retarded. They're so fucking retarded. Jesus Christ. Well, that's Vice for you. Bunch of shit peddlers. Thank you for watching the video, and see you later. Thank you very much. Goodbye.